As a joke, I thought about just providing a list of games with no description whatsoever for this video. Although I would find it funny, I don't think many of my viewers would. Luckily for you, I decided against doing this and will provide some of my thoughts on each game. Or unluckily for you, I guess, if you don't like watching my videos. In which case, why are you here watching this one? Go do something else with your time. Life is short. Anyways, back to the list. Those of you who have read the About section of my website will know that I started my blog and this YouTube channel because I have a bad habit of starting games and then not finishing them. I thought that writing about games would motivate me to finish what I started. It has worked somewhat because I have finished more games on a regular basis than before I began working on this little project of mine, but I'm not where I need to be at yet. I'm hoping this list will motivate me for the rest of the year, especially now that its end is fast approaching.
Where it lays its eggs. Huh? You think it's Mummy?
A Plague Tale Requiem will be the easiest to finish out of all the games on this list. Not because I booted it up, hated it, and then turned it off immediately afterwards. It's because it is not a very long game and it is mostly linear. I think I'm over halfway through the game as of this writing, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. Requiem stars Hugo and Amicia yet again as they try to find a cure for Hugo. It carries on the story from A Plague Tale Innocence, another good game if you haven't played it yet. The brother and sister pair must forge their way through hostile soldiers and literal hordes of rats. It makes for a tense atmosphere. I'm serious, by the way. I don't think I've ever been as tense playing a video game as I have been with Requiem. It's probably not good for my health, but good on Asobo Studio for making such an experience. The gameplay is very similar to the first game, although with a few changes and additions. You'll be solving environmental puzzles of varying difficulty along with sneaking and engaging with some light fighting if you choose to play the game. I find the combat to be a little clunky if I'm being honest, especially when you're trying to use the slingshot and there's multiple targets in front of you. The game has trouble deciding which one you want to hit. That's really my only gripe with the game so far. I've really been enjoying it otherwise.
Screech! You ready? Yes! Sophia is going to screech with us, right?
I was born to screech.
On three. 1, 2, 3!
You may be saying to yourself, now wait a minute, didn't he already finish and review Final Fantasy VII Remake? Very astute of you. I did in fact do just that. However, I want to finish the DLC, called Episode Intermission, before the year is out because the second part of the remake trilogy is on its way, and hopefully is closer than I think. I want to be ready for it just in case, you know what I'm saying? The episode stars Yuffie as she comes to the city of Midgard looking for materia. It features the same combat style as the base game, but Yuffie has her own moves and abilities. It also has a new minigame called Fort Condor, which I may or may not have spent too much time on already. Look, I'm trying to become the Fort Condor master, and the only way you can do that is by playing it, okay? Anyways, I hope to have it done by January is all I'm saying. Once again, you could be forgiven for thinking I have finished and reviewed this game, and I have. As with Final Fantasy VII Remake, I want to play through the DLC before the year comes to a close. The DLC stars Rose, Ethan's daughter, and I'm curious to see what she has been up to since the end of Village. From what I've heard about it so far, it shouldn't take too long to complete, so I'm excited to give it a go. It came out last week, so I should be getting to it relatively soon. And that's not all I want to do with Resident Evil Village. I actually want to play through the whole game again because I made the mistake of downloading and trying out the third-person mode demo. It made me want to play the game again, and that's what I'm going to do, damn it. Also, I have a PS5, and I have to say that the graphics look incredible on that machine, so that's even more of an incentive to play Village. Just as an aside, I have become quite the Resident Evil fan since I finished and reviewed Village. Since then, I've played through Resident Evil 2, 7, most of 3, and about half of 4. I should really finish those last two games. I think I'm in trouble in Resident Evil 3 though because I'm low on ammo and am at a spot where a bunch of difficult enemies come at me and I can't seem to beat them. I have no excuse for not finishing Resident Evil 4, so I may just have to do that before the year is out as well. Anyways, that's enough about Resident Evil. This has to be one of my greatest gaming shames. I, the pretend gamer, have not finished The Witcher 3. The Witcher series is one of my favorites of all time, and it pains me to say that I haven't seen how CD Projekt Red's Epic wraps up. I won't say why I haven't beat the game here because I'm saving that for potential future review. All I will say is that I have played through the first half of this game maybe half a dozen times now, and it never gets old. On a whim, I decided to boot up the game and load up my latest save instead of starting over yet again, and I was like, yeah, I need to finish this thing. It's just too good not to. And that, folks, is why it's here on this list. This sucker is going into my list of beaten games for good. Of course, once I do that, I have to play the 2 expansions afterwards. A Witcher's work is never done. I shouldn't even be playing this game again. I told myself that as I booted it up for the first time on my Xbox last weekend. I will probably tell myself that many more times, but that voice will always be overridden by how damn good this game is. Look, whenever this game comes out on a new platform, I must play it. That's how I've chosen to live my life. Yes, that's right, Persona 5 Royal was recently freed from its prison on the PS4, and is now on Xbox, PC, PS5, and the Switch as well. And it's also on Game Pass, by the way. There are no excuses for people who haven't played it yet. It's literally everywhere now. Not only am I replaying it because it's great, but because I also discovered something about it that I should have known about ages ago. You see, with the Xbox version, you get all the DLC with it. I never bought the DLC on PS4 because it mostly looked like just extra costumes, which I refused to pay money for. It's a long-standing policy here on the Pretend Gamer. Anyways, as I was saying, I thought it was just the outfits, but it turns out that, when you put the outfits from past games in the series onto the main character, the battle music from those games plays whenever you're fighting enemies. It even plays the victory screen music for those games too. A big old smile swept over my face when I realized what was happening the first time I put on the Gagoken high school uniform and Mass Destruction started playing. I couldn't believe it. It basically turns Persona 5 Royal into Persona 3. Okay, not really, but you get my point. Royal's default music is also really good too, but I've already heard that a million times, so it was nice to hear Persona 3's tunes. Persona 4's music is in the game too, by the way. I mean, why wasn't I told about this? You would think I would have at least received a letter in the mail. That's right, a damn letter. From Atlas. They should know by now that I, and everyone else, loves the Persona series' music so much and would like to hear it in Royal. Alright, I may have gotten off track a little here. The point is that listening to Persona 3's music in Persona 5 Royal is just one more reason why I have to play through Royal a second time.
Okay, guys. Beautiful rose has thorns.
This game has the distinction of being the most requested review from strangers on the internet from yours truly. Seriously, it's not even close. My Yakuza reviews are my most popular videos and posts by far, and the people really want me to review Yakuza 6. The truth is, I finished this game a long time ago, and have sat down to write a review of it many times, but the words have never flown out right. I recently plopped myself down in front of the computer to try yet again to adequately express my feelings about the game, but I failed. The reason I failed was because I was fully prepared to write a largely negative review about the game. However, before I started writing, I decided to look over the notes I had written about Yakuza 6 from several years ago. What I read in those notes is not what I remember from my time with the game. It seems my past self had more fun with the game than I can recall. As such, I decided that I would replay the game, or most of it, to see if I could square my memories with what was written down on those pages. It should make for an interesting experiment, and I hope to have that all wrapped up by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. This one's a little weird because the game isn't out and, as a consequence, I haven't played it, so I don't know if it's worth my time yet. I'm excited about Pentiment because it is being developed by the fine folks over at Obsidian Entertainment, and I'm always down for an Obsidian game. It's a narrative adventure game, and I don't think I've ever played an Obsidian game and thought, man, this writing is terrible. Hence why I'm looking forward to Pentiment. I hope it's good, but I guess we'll see soon enough, won't we? The game comes out on November 15th, and I'm on vacation that week, so it should be perfect. No calls, please. I'm going to be very busy. Which games are you all looking forward to, or are simply wanting to finish before the year is out? Let me know down below. Okay, goodbye.